Hello students, today we will study our Indian economy topic environment and sustainable development. Environment and sustainable development. Okay students, let's start. Introduction. We have achieved economic development at the expense of environment. We have to keep in mind our adverse effects and choose the path of sustainable development. Okay, students. Now, meaning of environment. Environment can be defined as the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates. The term environment refers to all elements of the physical and biological world as well as interactions between them. Environment plays preeminent role in the life cycle of human being as human life is highly dependent on environment. Environment has productive value, aesthetic and recreational value. Environment is the grand total of conditions that surrounds us at a given point of time and space. It is comprised of the interacting systems of physical, biological, and cultural elements which are interlinked both individually and collectively. It is the sum total of conditions in which an organism has to survive or maintain its life process. It influences the growth and development of living organism. Next is elements of environment. There are two elements of environment. First is biotic elements, second is abiotic. Biotic elements are the living things that have a direct or indirect influence on other organisms in an environment. For example, plants, animals, and microorganisms and their waste materials. Abiotic elements. Abiotic factors include all the non-living things you find in nature. They play an important part in the lives of all organisms. Some examples of these factors include wind, sunlight, soil, temperature, climate, and water. Now the next is functions of environment. There are four functions of environment. First is provide resources for production. Environment provides us with wide tangible resources like minerals, water, and soil. These are the gifts of nature. These resources act as an input for converting natural resources into productive and useful things. In other words, environment provides inputs for production that enhances human life qualitatively. The environment offers resources for production. It includes both renewable and non-renewable resources, example wood for furniture, soil, land, etc. Second, sustains life. Environment provides us with vital ingredients like sun, soil, water and air that are necessary for the survival of life. Absence of these essential elements implies absence of life. It supports biodiversity. Third, assimilates waste. The activities of production and consumption generate waste. This waste in the form of garbage is absorbed by the environment automatically. Production and consumption activities generate waste. This occurs mostly in the form of garbage. The environment helps in getting rid of the garbage. Fourth, enhances quality of life. Environment enhances the quality of life. Man enjoys natural beauty like rivers, mountains, deserts, etc. These add to the quality of life. Environment includes surroundings such as rivers, oceans, mountains, and deserts. It provides scenic beauty that man admires in life and adds to the quality of human life. Next is renewable and non renewable resources. Renewable resources are those resources which can be exhausted or depleted with their continuous use. There remains a continuous supply of renewable resources. Examples: water, trees, etc. Non renewable resources are those resources which get exhausted with their extraction and use. Examples: coal, petroleum, iron ore, etc. Environmental crisis. Environmental crisis refers to a situation when an environment fails to perform its vital function of life sustenance. The environment is suitable as soon as 1. Resource extraction remains below the rate of resource generation. Second, generation of waste remains within the absorptive capacity of the environment. Now, reasons for environmental crisis. There are 6 reasons for environmental crisis. First, population explosion. The high rate of growth of population adversely affects the environment. It increases the demand for environmental resources, but their supply is limited. This results in overuse and misuse of resources. Second, rise in economic activity. Rise in economic growth results in affluent consumption and production of goods and services. It generates waste which is beyond the absorptive capacity of the environment. Third, rapid industrialization. Rapid industrialization has led to deforestation, depletion of natural resources. It leads to water contamination due to the increasing volume of toxic substances and industrial waste into the water bodies. Urbanization. A large migration of population from rural to urban areas results in the fast growth of slum areas. It leads to the excess burden on the existing infrastructural activities. Deforestation. Deforestation refers to cutting down of trees, clearing forests, etc. It adversely affects the environment and causes other problems. Sixth, increased use of insecticides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. Farmers and workers suffer health problems due to increased use of poisonous insecticides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. The crop generated also contains chemical elements in it. These are the 6 reasons for environmental crisis. First is population explosion, growing number of population, rise in economic activities like industrialization, infrastructure facilities, rapid industrialization, urbanization, shifting from rural to urban areas, deforestation, cutting down of trees. Sixth is increased use of insecticide, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. Farmers are working Farmers and workers suffer health problems due to increasing use of insecticides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. Also, the crop generated chemicals in it. Due to this, they get affected. So, these are the 6 reasons for environmental crisis. Okay, students? Now, the next is reversal of supply demand relationship. Reason for environment degradation. In early days, when civilization just began, or before the increase in population, and or before countries took to industrialization, the demand for environment resources was much less than their supply. जब इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन ज़्यादा नहीं थी तो हम लोगों को environmental resources की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती थी. But with population explosion एंड विद द एडवेंट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, बट जब हमारी पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज होने लगे डे बाय डे और इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन लाने लग गए, इंडस्ट्री सेटअप करने लग गए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटीज़ करने लग गए, तो देन द डिमांड फॉर रिसोर्सेज बोथ प्रोडक्शन एंड कंजम्पशन बिकेम मोर देन द सप्लाई. तो हमारी डिमांड फॉर रिसोर्सेज क्या हो गई, इंक्रीज हो गई, और जो हमारे रिसोर्सेज थे वो क्या थे, लिमिटेड सप्लाई में थे. It is known as supply demand reversal of environment. This is one of the reason of the degradation of the environment. Okay, students. Global warming. The heating up of the atmosphere because of the greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane that trap the heat reflected by the earth, thereby causing an increase in the earth's temperature is called global warming or greenhouse effect. It is the increase in earth's temperature, surface temperature because of the effect of greenhouse gases. These gases absorb long wave radiations and warm the atmosphere, and this process is called a greenhouse effect. It had led to many changes on the planet, such as rise in sea level, massive melting of snow and land ice, elevated heat content of the oceans, increased humidity, change in the timings of seasonal events, and many others. It is an alarm bell for Earth's environment. It is alarming because of its adverse effects on ecological balance of Earth. The resultant ecological imbalance due to global warming is the root cause of various natural calamities like floods, famines, etc. Also, it is the root cause of various environmental threats like increase in sea level, glacier melting, changes in quantity and pattern of rainfall, heat waves, extreme seasons, etc. Now, causes of global warming. Man made causes of global warming. First, deforestation. Plants are the main source of oxygen. They take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen, thereby maintaining environmental balance. The forests are being depleted for many domestic and commercial purposes. This has led to an environmental imbalance, thereby giving rise to global warming. Second, use of vehicles. The use of vehicles, even for a very short distance, results into various gaseous emissions. Vehicles burn fossil fuels, which emit a large amount of carbon dioxide and other toxins into the atmosphere, resulting in a temperature increase. Third, chlorofluorocarbon. With the excessive use of air conditioners and refrigerators, humans have been adding chlorofluorocarbons into the environment, which affects the atmospheric ozone layer. The ozone layer protects the Earth's surface from the harmful ultraviolet rays emitted by the sun. The chlorofluorocarbon has led to oxygen layer depletion, making way for the ultraviolet rays, thereby increasing the temperature of the earth. Fourth, industrial development. With the advent of industrialization, the temperature of the earth has been increasing rapidly. The harmful emissions from the factories add to the increasing temperature of the earth. In 2013, the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change reported that the increase in the global temperature between 1880 and 2012 has been 0.9 degrees Celsius. The increase in 1.1 degrees Celsius when compared to the pre-industrial temperature. Fifth, agriculture. Various farming activities produce carbon dioxide and methane gas. These add to the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and increase the temperature of the earth. Overpopulation. Increase in population means more people breathing. This leads to an increase in the level of carbon dioxide, the primary gas causing global warming in the atmosphere. Now, natural causes of global warming. First, volcanoes. Volcanoes are one of the largest natural contributors to global warming. The ash and smoke emitted during volcanic eruptions goes out into the atmosphere and affects the climate. Second, water vapor. Water vapor is a kind of greenhouse gas. Due to the increase in Earth's temperature, more water gets evaporated from the water bodies and stays in the atmosphere, adding to global warming. Third, melting permafrost. Permafrost is there when glaciers are present. It is a frozen soil that has environmental gases trapped in it for several years. As the permafrost melts, It releases the gases back into the atmosphere, increasing the Earth's temperature. Fourth, forest blazes. Forest blazes or forest fires emit a large amount of carbon containing smoke. These gases are released into the atmosphere and increase the Earth's temperature, resulting in global warming. Now, effects of global warming. First, rise in temperature. Global warming has led to an incredible increase in Earth's temperature. Since 1880, the Earth's temperature has increased by approximately 1 degrees. This has resulted in an increase in the melting of glaciers, which have led to an increase in the sea level. This could have devastating effects on coastal regions. Second, threat to the ecosystem. Global warming has affected the coral reef that can lead to a loss of plant and animal lives. Increase in global temperatures has made the fragility of coral reefs even worse. Third, climate change. Global warming has led to a change in climatic conditions. There are droughts at some places and floods at some. This climatic imbalance is the result of global warming. Fourth, spread of diseases. Global warming leads to a change in the patterns of heat and humidity. This has led to the movement of mosquitoes that carry and spread diseases. Decrease in the human population. Due to an increase in floods, tsunamis, and other natural calamities, the population of humans tend to decrease. Also, the spread of diseases leads to a decrease in the human population. Loss of natural habitat. A global shift in the climate leads to the loss of habitats of several plants and animals. In this case, the animals need to migrate from their natural habitat and many of them even get extinct. This is yet another major impact of global warming on biodiversity. So, there are six effects of global warming. First is rise in temperature, second, threat to the ecosystem, third, climate change, fourth, spread of diseases, fifth, decrease in the human population, and the sixth is loss of natural habitat. Ozone depletion. Ozone depletion, gradual thinning of Earth's ozone layer in the upper atmosphere caused by the release of chemical compounds containing gaseous chlorine or bromine from industry and other human activities. The thinning is the most pronounced in the polar regions, especially over Antarctica. Ozone depletion is a major environmental problem because it increases the amount of ultraviolet UV radiation that reaches Earth's surface, which increases the rate of skin cancer, eye cataract, and genetic and immune system damage. The Montreal Protocol, ratified in 1987, was the first of several comprehensive international agreements enacted to halt the production and use of ozone depleting chemicals. Causes of ozone depletion. First, chlorofluorocarbon, which is used as cooling substances in ACs and refrigerators. Second, aerosol propellants and bromofluorocarbons, halogens, which is used in fire extinguishers. Effects of ozone depletion. First, effects on human health. The humans will be directly exposed to the harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun due to the depletion of the ozone layer. This might result in serious health issues among humans such as skin cancers, sunburns, cataract, quick aging, and weakened immune system. Second, effects on animals. Direct exposure to ultraviolet radiations leads to skin and eye cancer in animals. Third, effects on the environment. Strong ultraviolet rays may lead to minimal growth, flowering, and photosynthesis in plants. The forests also have to bear the harmful effects of the ultraviolet rays. Fourth, effects on marine life. Planktons are greatly affected by the exposure to harmful ultraviolet rays. These are higher in the aquatic food chain. If the planktons are destroyed, the organisms present in the lower food chain are also affected. Plankton, very small plants and animals that float on the surface of the sea and on which other sea animals feed. So these are the effects of ozone depletion. Next, Montreal Protocol. The Montreal Protocol, finalized in 1987, is a global agreement to protect the stratospheric ozone layer by phasing out the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances. Signed 26 August 1987, location Montreal. The Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer, also known simply as Montreal Protocol, is an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for ozone depletion. It was made pursuant to the 1985 Vienna Convention for the Protection of the Ozone Layer, which established the framework for international cooperation in addressing ozone layer. It was designed to stop the production and import of ozone depleting substances and reduce their concentration in the atmosphere to help protect the Earth's ozone layer. The Montreal Protocol is widely considered as the most successful environment protection agreement. It sets out a mandatory timetable for the phase out of ozone depleting substances. This timetable has been reviewed regularly with phase out dates accelerated in accordance with scientific understanding and technological advances. Now, challenges to India's environment. First, land degradation. It means decrease in the quality of the land such that its nutrients and fertility is lost as an incapable of growing crops. Second, degradation of forest or deforestation. The clearing or thinning of forest by humans, deforestation represents one of the largest issues in global land use. Estimates of deforestation traditionally are based on the area of forest cleared for human use, including removal of the trees for wood products and for croplands and grazing lands. In the practice of clear cutting, all the trees are removed from the land, which completely destroys the forest. In some cases, however, even partial logging and accidental fires thin out the trees enough to change the forest structure dramatically. Third, soil erosion. It is the natural process in which the topsoil of a field is carried away by physical sources such as wind and water. In this process, the soil particles are loosened or washed away in the valleys, oceans, rivers, streams, or far away lands. This has been worsening due to human activities such as agriculture and deforestation. Soil erosion is a continuous process that occurs either slowly or at an alarming rate. It results in a continuous loss of topsoil, ecological degradation, soil collapse, etc. Biodiversity loss. It is the decrease in the number of a particular species in a certain habitat. Loss of biodiversity also leads to the extinction of the plant and animal species, and this loss can be either reversible or permanent. Human activities have been the major cause of the loss of biodiversity, which has led to sudden changes in climate, causing a big threat to biodiversity. There has also been an increased demand for natural resources along with the growing population, leading to greater waste generation. Air pollution. It is the release of pollutants such as gases, particles, biological molecules, etc., into the air that is harmful to human health and the environment. Air pollution refers to any physical, chemical, or biological change in the air. It is the contamination of air by harmful gases, dust, and smoke which affects the plants, animals, and humans drastically. There is a certain percentage of gases present in the atmosphere. An increase or decrease in the composition of these gases is harmful to survival. This imbalance in the gaseous composition has resulted in an increase in Earth's temperature. Causes of land degradation. First, deforestation. Forests play an important role in maintaining fertility of soil by shedding their leaves, which contain many nutrients. Forests are also helpful in binding up of soil particles with the help of roots of vegetation. Therefore, cutting of forest will affect the soil adversely. Second, excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides. Fertilizers are indispensable for increasing food production, but their excessive use has occasioned much concern as a possible environmental threat. Excessive use of fertilizers is causing an imbalance in the quality in the quantity of certain nutrients in the soil. This imbalance adversely affects the vegetation. Moreover, excessive use of these pesticides results in an increase in the level of resistance by certain pests, and it may kill some useful species like earthworm, which are very helpful in maintaining soil fertility. Thus, the use of pesticides leads to decline in the fertility status of soil. Third, overgrazing. Increase in livestock population results in overexploitation of pastures. Due to this, grass and other types of vegetation are unable to survive and grow in the area, and lack of vegetation cover leads to soil erosion. Fourth, salinization. Increase in the concentration of soluble soils in the soil is called salination. India has about 6 million hectares of saline land. Fifth, waterlogging. Excessive irrigation and improper drainage facility in the fields cause rise in the groundwater level. This groundwater mixes with surface water used for irrigation and creates a situation called waterlogging. Groundwater brings the salts of soil in dissolved state up to the surface where they form a layer or sheet of salt after evaporation. The term salinity is used for such a situation. Sixth, desertification. Desertification is a widespread process of land degradation in arid, semi arid, and dry subhumid areas resulting from various factors including climatic variations and human activities. The UNO Conference on Desertification 1977 has defined desertification as the diminution or destruction of the biological potential of land and can lead ultimately to desert like conditions. The major causes of desertification are mismanagement of forest, overgrazing, mining, and quarry. Changes in climate in turn can intensify desertification and land degradation. These processes are aggravated by variations in weather, and climate change can increase such variability. If climate change continues unabated, the potential increase in the frequency and intensity of droughts would reinforce the variability of dry land ecosystems. The increasing rate of desertification will be a threat to food security. Seventh, soil erosion. Accelerated soil erosion by water and wind is the major land degradation process, and this is a consequence of changed relationship between environmental factors which occur as a result of human interventions. Adverse changes in physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of the soil result in reduced fertility and soil erosion. Other kinds of land degradation are as waterlogging, chemical contamination, acidification, salinity, and alkalinity, etc. Eighth, wasteland. Wastelands are the lands which are economically unproductive, ecologically unsuitable, and subject to environmental deterioration. Estimates show that wastelands in India form about half of our country. Wastelands are of two types, cultivable and uncultivable. The cultivable wastelands include ravious land, waterlogged land, marsh and saline lands, forest land, degraded land, strip land, mining and industrial wastelands. On the other hand, uncultivable wastelands include barren, rocky areas, steep slopes, snow capped mountains, and glaciers. Ninth, landslides. The sudden movement of the soil and the weathered rock material down the slope due to the force of gravity is called a landslide. Landslides are common in mountainous regions, especially those which are situated along the river banks or near the coastline. The flow of water continuously goes on doing the eroding work, which results in landslides sooner or later. Especially when the rivers are in floods, they greatly add to landslides. In India, landslides are common in the mountainous regions of the north and northeastern parts. Human induced activities are also responsible for landslides. They are deforestation in hilly areas, excessive mining in hilly areas, construction of dams, infrastructure, and means of transport, especially construction of roads. Now, causes of soil erosion, rainfall, and flooding. Higher intensity of rainstorm is a major cause of soil erosion. Four types of soil erosion are caused by rainfall: rills erosion, gully erosion, sheet erosion, splash erosion. The raindrops disperse the soil, which is then washed away into the nearby streams and rivers. Regions with heavy and frequent rainfall face a large amount of soil loss. The flowing water during floods also erodes a lot of soil by creating potholes, rock cut basins, etc. Second, agriculture. The farming practices are the major cause of soil erosion. The agricultural activities disturb the ground. The trees are cleared and the land is plowed to sow new seeds. Since most of the crops are grown during the spring season, the land lies fallow during winters. Most of the soil is eroded during winters. Also, the tires of tractors make grooves on the land, making a natural pathway for water. Fine soil particles are eroded by wind. Grazing. The grazing animals feed on the grasses and remove the vegetation from the land. Their hooves churn up the soil. They also pull out plants by their roots. This loosens the soil and makes it more prone to erosion. Logging and mining. A large number of trees are cut down to carry out the logging process. Trees hold the soil firmly. The canopy of the trees protect the soil from heavy rainfall. The leaf litter that protects the soil from erosion is also lost during logging. Mining activities also disturb the land and leave the soil more prone to erosion. Construction. The construction of roads and buildings exposes the soil to erosion. The forest and grasslands are cleared for construction purposes, which exposes the soil, making it vulnerable to erosion. Sixth, rivers and streams. The flowing rivers and streams carry away the soil particles, leading to a V shaped erosion activity. Seventh, heavy winds. During dry weather or in the semi arid regions, the minute soil particles are carried away by the wind to far away lands. This degrades the soil and results in desertification. Now, sustainable development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Specifically, sustainable development is a way of organizing society so that it can exist in the long term. This means taking into account both the imperatives present and those of the future, such as the preservation of the environment and natural resources or social and economic equity. Sustainable development can be defined as an approach to the economic development of a country without compromising the quality of the environment for future generations. In the name of economic development, the price of environmental damage is paid in the form of land degradation, soil erosion, air and water pollution, deforestation, etc. This damage may surpass the advantages of having more quality output of goods and services. Now, ways to achieve sustainable development. First, restrict use of renewable resources. Rate of extraction should not exceed rate of regeneration. Second, substitute non-renewable with renewable resources. Substitute non-renewable resources with the renewable resources to run the smooth functioning of environment. Third, become input efficient. Work should be done in such a way that inputs are fully and efficiently utilized, not get exploited. Control pollution. Pollution emitting things should be restricted. Control growth of population. Population should be controlled. It can't go beyond the carrying capacity of the environment. If it goes beyond it, it will be difficult to manage environment. Strategies for sustainable development. First, use of eco-friendly sources of energy. Subsidized liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) is being provided along with gobar gas plants through easy loans and subsidy in rural areas. In urban areas, compressed natural gas (CNG) is used as fuel in public transport and vehicles. It significantly lowers air pollution, because of which air can become cleaner. Second, technological knowledge. Technological progress needs to be input efficient rather than input consuming. This implies to the maximization of output, which moderates the stress on resource endowment per unit of output. Third, convert sunlight to solar energy. Renewable source. India has plenty of sunlight, which is a rich source of energy. This sunlight is eco-friendly and a non-exhaustible source of energy. Solar energy can be converted to electricity through photovoltaic cells. Organic farming. Excessive use of chemical fertilizers, insecticides, and pesticides has increased their production, but there was loss in soil fertility. This implies the loss in the production capacity for future years. Therefore, there is need for organic farming which maintains soil health with sustained productivity. Causes of environmental degradation. First, population explosion. One of the main causes of environmental degradation is the tendency of population explosion in India. As a result of it, pressure of population on land has increased very much and land is being exploited ruthlessly. Population explosion has caused large scale deforestation to make use of land for agriculture. Second, construction projects, that is construction of houses for urban population, construction of river valley projects for irrigation and power supply. Second, increasing number of people. Number of persons living below the poverty line is very large in India. These people cut trees for their subsistence and thereby exploit natural capital. Third, increasing urbanization. Tendency of urbanization has gained momentum after independence. As a result, demand for houses and other public amenities has increased tremendously. To meet this increased demand, land and other natural resources have been excessively exploited. Fourth, modernization of agriculture. Consequent upon modernization of agriculture, effect of chemical fertilizers and pesticides has increased very much. It has also contributed to the rise in pollution. Fifth, more rapid industrialization. After independence, Indian economy has witnessed rapid industrialization. It has added to air pollution, water pollution, and noise pollution. Sixth, multiplicity of the means of transport. Increasing multiplicity of the means of transport in the wake of independence has also been another main cause of the problem of environment. It has resulted in large scale air and noise pollution. Seventh, discard of civic norms. General public in India is not a respecter of civic norms. People abuse it. For instance, no cleanliness on roads, littering of roads with rubbish, drains remaining choked with slit and refuse, excessive use of loudspeakers, etc. All these factors add to environmental pollution. In short, whereas on the one hand, environment has degraded as a result of rapid industrialization and urbanization, on the other, due to neglect of civic norms by the people, the process of pollution has assumed a permanent change.